What's up, YouTube? So, just came back from my meditation, like my beach meditation. I go to the beach every morning, and then I meditate. Today it was like a 2.5 hours something, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly. I wanted to talk about this, man. When I had my last okay, I'm not gonna say my last, but when I had like one of the most dramatic, traumatic experiences, spiritual experiences in my life in St. Petersburg, Russia, in 2023, like 2 years ago. I had, before the drama started, I was on my way to meet my tribe. When I say tribe, I'm talking about, my people, not necessarily black, like skin shit, but spiritually, mentally, psychologically. The people that not only think like me, but act like me and are the ones that I would want to be in the future. When I'm looking at them, I'm like, yeah, I'd want to be like that. 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 Because if you were just a little bit spiritual and just a little bit intellectual, just a little bit like nerdy, like they say, and with a big deal of introversion, especially if you're black, you're gonna find yourself really isolated, not communicating with with the world in the normal sense of the term, like to go out and meet people and shit. Because every time I do that, it really gives me back some satisfaction, some emotional and intellectual satisfaction. I'm always like, nah, fuck that shit. I shouldn't have gone out. I shouldn't have talked to these people. I feel drained. I feel anger. I feel, frustration. I feel deprivation. And then let's get back to that. To that moment back in 23. I was going through my depression / spiritual isolation, and I was heavy on the internet stuff. Like, I was watching a lot of videos, and most of these people that I call my people, my tribe, like these are my bros, these are my guys, you know what I mean? People that are not necessarily blood related to you, but you look at them and you're like, man, it feels like I've known this nigga forever, or I've known this woman forever. And then I'm watching them, and during that period, I also met on the internet what you would call one of the slices in the cake that is the collective soul where I came from. It's like there is an oversoul, right? Or there is a bigger self, a bigger soul that is managing. There is a difference between the amount of souls that this bigger or oversoul is managing, but I think the difference doesn't matter. What matters is that there is a bigger self out there that is managing, for example, 8 people like mine, or 16 people, or 32 people, or 64 people, or 4 people. You know what I mean? Like it works in this pattern, like 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. You know what I mean? And then you could say that the soul family where I was extracted from, that woman or that girl got extracted from that same bigger soul. You know what I mean? And in the new age spirituality, they call them twin flame and shit. And then but if you know better, when I say know, if you've maybe you've read some books or you've had some experiences, but the most important thing is to experience it. Once you go from having an individuated ego, like a personalized like a personalized, like, you know what I mean, like a personalized fascia, right? A face, a personality, a facet. And then you shed this layer, you know, through meditation or whatever the path, you become awakened. And sooner or later you realize you are not just one people. As a matter of fact, you begin to sense the others, like the other souls that are partaking in the same situation. You begin to feel them, you begin to sense them, you begin to communicate with them. This is, for example, when you might be going through something, and then you watch a video of something, or of someone talking about something that you're going through, that he or she was going through, or he or she is describing, you know what I mean? And then but unfortunately for me during that time, I was just practicing. I wasn't really feeding my mind a lot of intellectual information, but I was deep in the practice of meditation, observation, contemplation, astral traveling, lucid dreaming. Because during this time, 2023, right, I'm meditating heavy, and I'm creating heavy too. Like, I'm going to the studio. During that year, I even, I went to the studio. I started to go to the studio less because of all the situation I was going through. And then, I'm going through that, and I'm beginning, I hop on YouTube, and I see a lady, and I'm like, man, I like her style, like a big lady, you know what I mean, like, and an older lady. I'm like, okay, I like her style. She's flipping tarot cards and stuff like that. And then I'm like, okay, let me just watch like whatever she's talking about, because she said she's from New York and she's Jamaican and shit. I'm like, man, I like the vibe, because I'm Haitian, and my father all his life lived in New York, like 50 plus years in New York. I'm like, okay, Caribbean, New York, yeah, that's my vibe. Let me watch her. And I kept watching. She's flipping his cards, these tarot cards, and she's talking her shit. And then I'm like, yeah, I like her, even if what she's saying is not about me per se. But I'm like, yeah. And then in another video, I see another girl. She came with another girl, and that girl was beautiful. Like, she was attractive, man. I mean, to me, she was really attractive. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then the way she carried herself, like, I'm like, alright, that's cool, And I kept it pushing. I just kept it pushing. I just saw her. I'm like, oh, she's attractive. Okay. Because me, I like, in my mind, I'm always having a full-blown conversation with not only another part of myself, not only another voice, but multiple of them. Like, in my mind, I don't have me and then the other guy. Nah, we are, I don't know, we're more than even 6, 7 in there. Like, it's crazy. Like, when we're having a conversation, like, it's crazy, because I'll be laughing. One of them be saying something, I laugh, and then I feel offended, but it's not really me that feels offended, it's the other part. You know what I mean? Like, it's full-blown conversation with different parts of yourself. And a part of myself is like, yeah, shorty's attractive. And another part of me is like, you know what? I never saw these types of girls do tarot, like flipping tarot cards and shit. And beauty as a way to, like, disguise or mask certain stuff that otherwise you would clearly see if you weren't attracted to, what you're seeing. And then the other guy in my head say, nah, she's too pretty to be a professional. Like, nah, she's too pretty to be a professional. She most likely is some beginner and stuff. She might got some intuition. She might, but nah, I wouldn't trust her for my reading and shit. And I don't know what, but during that time, if okay, let me not say if because these things, even though we have a bigger population of awaken people in the world. Let me not just assume that everybody would know what I'm talking about in the sense of the feeling and what's going on when you're going through that process. But let me explain it. When you go beyond your egoic self, like your personalized individual, like yourself, your personalized identity, when you go beyond that, you begin to sense others as part of you, as you. For example, you could go outside in the streets, you sit in the park, you see a baby passing by, she's smiling, and all of a sudden, not only that you start smiling as well, but you feel her version of the smile, because a kid doesn't smile like like an old person. A man doesn't smile like a woman. You know what I mean? A grandma doesn't smile like a grandson. They have different versions of smiles. It's like poetry. Everybody says it. You can say the same thing, but everybody will say it differently according to their own lenses. And then I begin to sense stuff. I begin to even hear the egregore, like the collective mind of the St. Petersburg city. And it's like spirits in the air is talking, they're talking to me, because my antennas are picking up their signals. And I know, because during this time, every time when I'm outside, if I'm walking, I used to bike a lot because I love biking, I love riding bikes. But if I'm walking, my head is always up, upwards. Like I'm always peeping the aura, the energy of the buildings. You see the electric threads and stuff like that, the electrical lines. I'm peeping the energy, like the etheric energy, like around them. Like damn, like even in broad daylight, for example, until now, like I could just go outside. It's not the same environment. I'm in Dominican Republic right now, in like a small international hub, international city. But I could do it right now. For example, there is a fan. Okay, there is my laptop charge right now. I could just, I'm already peeping. Like it's like a shadow. You see it as a shadow, like a colored shadow, like a rainbow. Like it's kind of funny, It's crazy. And then while I'm sensing all this, I already know that because I've read books about it, and I've heard people talk about it, and I already know that I'm no longer one person, and I'm integrating this process like beautifully, because I might be in the streets, I'm singing, or I'm laughing with myself, I'm talking with myself, like we're going in, like it's always crazy. And like while I'm going through this, not in a bad sense, right? I'm enjoying myself, but in the parallel, I'm watching these videos of women flipping cards or tarot cards and shit like that. I'm also watching the guys that I called my tribe in the beginning of the video. These guys, man, you could call them metaphysical beasts, like monsters. Like they don't play. Like, and 10-15 years ago, when I would start reading metaphysics, the occult, esoterics, stuff like this, all my sources, most of my sources would come from Asia, some white folks in there too, like Mantak Chia, Tuesday, Lobsang Tuesday Rampa, the Tibetan guy who ended up in Canada, and shit. Like these were my friends. These, like in these books that I was reading, these were the type of people I would hang with in my own mind. And then to have found these guys that looked like me in America, like dropping bars after bars after bars after, like spiritual metaphysical bars, and I'm like, damn, these guys are my tribe. These are my people. You know what I mean? If I grew up in the States, I'd be doing the same shit. And I'm like, damn, but I'm in Russia. I'm far away. And I have a Haitian passport. I cannot just go to the United States. I'm like, damn, how do I do that? I'm like, okay, let me just start posting videos and shit. And before I knew it, my videos started getting traction, in the sense, not physical traction in the sense of views, but traction in the sense of a conversation, like a conversation in the fourth dimension, not in the 3D world, because you can communicate with somebody if they can't pick up the phone and answer you, if they are not doing a video call with you, if you're not in the same environment, physical environment with them. But with these guys over there in America, I was communicating with them, and not only guys but also women. I was communicating to their tribe, and they were like, oh, that's interesting, because they were picking my signal from afar, like from Russia. And the few friends that I had in Russia that also knew about this stuff, they would write me as well. I remember one of these guys, Nika. He's a weird guy too, like very spiritual guy, and he's in Siberia. I'm in St. Petersburg, and he texted me on Telegram. He didn't text me anything. He just showed me a picture, and the picture had someone in it, like a kid, and then the light of an helicopter flashing on him, beaming on him. It's like he's standing there, right? He's standing there, and then like he's walking in the street or some shit like that, and then there are like beams of light on him. And I saw it, and I was like, oh, that's a coded message. It's telling me everybody's seeing me. I am in the open. I'm practically naked. Everybody sees me, you know, like. And during that time, I did not understand why when I go outside, I can hear people's thoughts. Like, why do I feel people's emotions? Like, how? Like, why? You know, I always knew about telepathy and everything, and I could pick on people's thoughts and send them thoughts, but it was never 24/7 live. It was never like this intense. And while I'm going through this shit, mind you, the drama had already started. I went back home from the island. If you watch my previous video of what happened to me in Russia, you know, some of these spiritual experiences and shit. And I'm communicating with this tribe from America or from the other side of the world, and they're telling me, get the hell out of here, out of there. Get ahead, like, you know, exit the country, leave the country. And some of them, unfortunately, had a bad impression of me, had a bad first impression of me, because, I don't know, I probably gave the street guy image, or the immature guy image, or the guy that is just doesn't know shit, and he just went into a tunnel that he doesn't know anything about, and he's dumb, and he doesn't know what to do, and he's arrogant, and he's hypersexual, and he's because every time I made my videos and I posted them, I knew the content of my message would fly in the ethers, and it would reach them, and they would understand. But in the beginning, only just a few of them did not judge me. The majority, like the big majority of them, was like, nah, this little nigga, like, he's tripping. Or, nah, he love white folks, he doesn't like us. Or, what the hell is he doing in Russia? Why did you go to Russia in the first place? Or, nah, he's not spiritual. Like, and every time I would hear this, like, for me it would be very funny. Like, even now I'm reminiscing about it, like, it's really funny. And back then it was funnier, and I'm like, damn, you guys don't get it. Most of you guys don't get it. And during that time, I was on a highway of emotions. Like, either I'm battling like big forces. I'm talking about egregoric forces, not just your regular spirit, your regular. Nah, I'm talking about collective, manifested egregores that are just like hunting on my ass because I just activated something inside of me that is not tolerated in their community. In their community, you're not supposed to radiate this type of light. They're gonna come for you. And when it happened to me, they came. I would sit in my park and I would see police cars, going around. And during that time, I wasn't even doing anything like illegal and shit. Like, because for me, it was even funnier because I was like, when you could do something, you didn't do shit. But now that you can't, you're trying to, right? And I'm like, that's interesting. Everywhere I go, there would always be 2, 3 older white women in their, Russian women like in their 50s or 60s with literally notebooks, writing down my behavior. I remember once a police car was pulled up in the park. This is the first time I saw a police car pulling up in the park and driving where they're not supposed to drive. And during that time, I was picking up some flowers to make tea. And they came from behind me and they were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean what I'm doing? What am I doing?" And they were like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What I'm doing now, I'm picking flowers for some tea. You guys want some?" and they smiled. And they're like, "Nah. What's up with you? Like, what are you gonna do with those?" I'm like, "Did you not hear? I'm gonna make tea with it. Like, do you want some? I can offer you some because I'm just picking them right now." And they're like, "Nah, we're good." And I'm like, "Okay, that's interesting." I looked around and I saw 2 women literally writing down, looking at me and writing down, looking at me and writing down, and communicating with, between themselves. And then I'm like, "What the hell?" And I'm starting to get more and more paranoid because I'm like, "Fuck." Not only that I'm living alone, I'm not living with anybody. I don't have any girlfriends. I didn't have any girlfriends at the time. I'm still free as a bird. Like, I don't have any attachment, this type of attachments. And then I'm like, damn, I'm not living with my people. I'm not living with anyone at home. I'm going through this shit. Like, and now they already started to try to monitor me, surveillance and shit. I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting. Am I that important?" Like, it was so funny to me at the time because I was doing my music stuff, writing and stuff, going to the studios, trying to, recording videos and shit. I was not even when I was in my spiritual bag, I was so not about them, not communicating with them because I was done, bro. By January 23, I was done with Russia. I was like, I've been here since 2019. It's been 4 years, and I'm not satisfied with the result, with anything, I'm not satisfied. So let me just hop out. See you guys. You know what I mean? So, and I wouldn't communicate much with anyone during that time. But all of a sudden, they are interested in me. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And I began to post even more videos to try to mediate the situation, because I'm in between. I am in Russia physically, but I'm already not there spiritually. And my tribe already detected my signal from America. And then they're sending me messages. They're telling me what to do, get out of there, go back, ground your energy. You rose too high in the sky. You're supposed to come down to earth. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But the majority of the messages, I couldn't really get them properly because of the judgments. Most of them, you know black people. You know black people that you better be judged by anyone else, but not by black people, because they're gonna roast your ass. They're gonna judge your, and it's not that I'm scared of roasting, because fortunately for me, my big brother had already trained me during my childhood not to be scared of roasting. But at the same time, I was like, this is not a game. This is serious. This is serious stuff. This is about my life. This is about my spiritual journey and shit like that. Like, why are you judging me, guys? Don't you not see? Can't you see my aura? It's like, sometimes I would even say, can't you guys see my aura? I can see your aura. Why can't you see mine? You know what I mean? I'm like, can't you see the vibe? Can't you feel the energy from me? Can't you not see I'm a genuine guy and shit like that? And at the end, when I say at the end, let's say some months in that process of making videos, posting them, getting my replies or answers from them from their videos and shit like that, I'm like, you know what? This community doesn't understand me where I am, the Russian community. These people, the black gods, they also don't understand me because they judging me right now from America. Let me just go about it my way. And that's what I did. But by doing this, I ruined the first introduction, or my first introduction into their radar or their community or their awareness. And I remember one of these guys, one of them that I would consider my mentor, and I began watching him from, learning about the music business, right? And according to me, he went through some shit like that too, like some deep, traumatic, spiritual stuff. But in my own opinion, his ass got kicked so bad, like so much, that probably from his education and his upbringing, he had to turn back into religion. He went back to Jesus. And me, having already gone through, all the psyops, all the illusions, all the mirage that the Jesus egregore, is pretty much maintaining. I was like, damn, that's too bad. Okay, so it's good at that. I got the music business, motivation, basketball, stuff like this. But I cannot listen to him to get my spiritual stuff correct. I'm supposed to listen to these other guys because they know better. But most of them, they are on the judgmental side. They are judging me. I'm like, fuck. What should I do? And I feel myself in between two worlds, because in one world, on one side, the Russian community, like 95% of it, the Russian spiritual community in St. Petersburg from that time, they just flat out judging me too. And during that time, they couldn't do nothing but two things: either judge me or admire me, like flat out almost worshiping me, because they would see me like even from afar, and they would be like, "Oh, that's him, really? Is that our guy? Yeah, that's our guy. Oh, for real? I would not expect, I didn't expect him to be black. That's interesting. He's communicating with our spirits and shit. Yeah, for real? Yeah. He speaks Russian? Yep. Are you kidding me? Nah. Does he know we're talking about him now? Probably. Damn, that's powerful. Yeah. But we gotta shut it down though. It's not normal. Yeah, but he doesn't want to. Why? And once, I even overheard one of them say, there was a couple, and the woman said to her husband, why can't he shut it down? Because he's supposed to shut it down. Why can't he turn it off? And the guy said, because he doesn't know voodoo. The Russian guy. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. They know I don't know voodoo. So they know voodoo better than me? And it popped in my mind like, oh shit, these people study our culture. They know our history better than us. I'm like, damn. So if I knew voodoo, like Neo say in the Matrix, oh, I get it now. I know Kung Fu. Right? If I knew voodoo, according to them, I would have shut it down. But because I didn't know voodoo, because I'm not affiliated with anything. Of course I'm Haitian. Of course we get, we have the most grimiest, strongest, spiritual stuff. But I'm not registered in any of their sects, and I'm not affiliated with anything. I'm just a free guy. And I would hear a lot of people telling me that freedom is what is troubling you right now. Because if you had some affiliation, they would shut it down for you. I'm like, nah. I prefer being free in trouble than not having trouble and also not having freedom. Because this is the biggest trouble. you know? And then I have met my tribe. I have sent my signal. They have detected it, but they have judged me. But most of them, I believe, would travel astrally to Russia, like to my environment, and they would peep what is going on. One of them in his videos even said, "It's crazy out there. It's a witch hunt. It's a witch hunt going on." He was talking about me. He was talking about my ass getting hunted spiritually by like the majority of the community. And it was crazy because I'm one person. Imagine, right now I'm in Cabarete, right, in Dominican Republic. I don't know how many people live here, but I would guess like we're in the five figures, right? 50,000, maybe 100. Okay, let's say 90,000 people live here in this city. If it's that much, because it's a small city. Let's say you're one person with all your chakras open. You're going through and it's 24/7. It's 24/7. And each time you go out, you are already alerting their system. They're alerted. And I would even try to study them when I'm outside in the streets. For example, I would go out and I walk fast, and then they start walking fast too. I'm like, oh, so I'm controlling y'all. When I walk slow, everybody's walking slow. If I stop, they don't stop, but it's like mentally they do. I'm like, damn. Okay. And if I stop, they stop. Some of them even stop and look at me. They're passing by and they're talking about me. And I'm like, why? Like, what is going on? And just to sum the video up, the girl that I had seen from YouTube, flipping the cars, the one that I was attracted to. Later on, I just wrote her, I just like, man, you know what? Let me, let me just, And during that time, I really did not. I wasn't in that vibe. I wasn't in that reason vibe, like the new generation is calling it. I was just like, you know what, man, let me just talk to her. Maybe she's cool, maybe she's not. Let's figure it out. Let's find out. And then I texted her, and the way she answered, I was like, so you spoiled. I was like, so you were spoiled. Like, you're a spoiled little girl. That's how you respond. I'm like, alright. We speak another time then. But the thing that I found out was, I was the one being judged in the beginning. Probably because I'm a man, probably because I was in Russia, and according to the black community, it comes off as suspicious. Legitimately, they're supposed to be suspicious of you if you're out there talking spiritual stuff and you're living in Russia. They don't see any black person around me in my videos. I'm the only black person in those videos. You know what I mean? And I speak Russian. They hear me talking about Russian people and shit like that. So basically, they're like, that's suspicious. You know what I mean? Show us that you are one of us, because you do look like us, but And I'm like, I'm one of y'all. But I just love colors. I love colors. I love the rainbow. You know what I mean? I love darkness. I also love the light. I love the shadows. And I also love, the flickers, And then The girl turned out to be very immature, very, I don't want to talk bad about my people, but she was not, her physical appearance did not match her personality at all. she was, she was, nah. It was sad, even for me. Like, I was like, man, that's a waste. That's a waste of beauty. You know, like that's a waste of beauty and shit, because she wasn't that religious egregore as well. You know, Christianity and shit. Not even the good side, the African ancient Christianity, but the, you know, some other shit. Like. And then I was like, oh, so their version of my story is, or my situation is, I need to be saved by Jesus. I need to convert myself to Christianity. I was like, nah, I don't want to do that, because I know better. And when I would listen to my guys, my OGs, my mentors from my tribe, they would tell me, do not listen to these religious people. Don't go back, like, keep swimming, keep going. Don't go back to this religious stuff. Like, there is no sovereignty in religion. And I knew it. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. What should I do? How should I introduce myself to my own people that are doubting me? And during that time, I learned the level that I was at spiritually. You're supposed to have a house, like a physical home or a land. When you reach that level, and I reached that level, I didn't have anything, bro. I was living in a foreign country alone. And it's a recurrent theme in my life, and I always say that I'm too early or I'm terribly late. It's like, psychologically, I'm not 28. Right now I'm 28, right? But psychologically, I'm somewhere around 40 or 45 years old, maybe 50 even. And I'm living in a time where I cannot communicate well with people my age because they're dumb or immature or blind or stupid, or, you know what I mean? And maybe I am stupid for judging them because they're supposed to be that way in that age bracket. And maybe I'm the wrong one for, being in that physical vessel that's 28, but inside, who knows how old we are, because it's not only me, And then I fell in love with the tribe, man, and I fell in love with the girl too. But the girl was not for me, bro. The girl was, and it was so beautiful because it was so beautiful it became pathetic, in the sense like, how you gonna fall into the trap of basically starting to, like, literally, I was literally starting to secrete or compose real feelings. When I say feelings, I'm talking about something that was going to last a lifetime. For a girl that I never met, she's on the internet flipping cards, bro. And most of what she did, they weren't even true. And when she started to tap into my frequency, if I didn't write her on by mail to tell her what's happening, she wouldn't know what to say when she was flipping his cards. And I was like, okay, do you have a talent for it, or do you always need a raw data from somebody like me to tell your story? And I would watch, and I was like, you know what, let me watch all her videos to see if there is creativity from it. And there wasn't. The creativity spawns from people writing her, and she takes data from these guys or these people, and then she's flipping his cards, and then it's like the card is telling her is reflecting back her own story to her, but she's saying that that's your story, and you're supposed to believe and act based on what she's saying, based on what she recommends you do. You know what I mean? And then the good people, I would say, the good people from Russia, they would ask me, bro, do you have a house? Do you have a woman? Do you have kids? Like, when they talk to me and they see my energy, like they sense the shit, they would ask me these things that most probably you're supposed to have when you are at that level spiritually. But I was like a lost alien kid who breached to a dimension where it's all ground folks in here that have everything figured out, or most of their shit together, materially, financially, socially, psychologically, spiritually, and they're helping others, but you just bumped into the gate and you ain't got shit. You just got a catalog of songs, 50 songs and some books. That's it. And you're like, hello guys, hello, how are you doing? And they're like, man, get the fuck out of here, little nigga. Like, who are you? You know what I mean? Some of them were even like, don't ever trust these guys. They are not to be trusted. And I'm like, really? Like, are you for real, nigga? I'm Haitian. Like, it's in our blood. Okay, I wouldn't say that, because even Haitians betray. Even, they're Haitian traitors. But it's a population, man. If you, okay, Tony Yayo is Haitian. You see how loyal he is to 50, right? It's, I don't know, but I'm ready to bet Asians are one of these nations that, if you could study blood and discover how much loyalty that nation contains in their blood, Haitians would probably be in the top 5, even in the top 3, bro. Like, nah, don't ever think I will go to any white country and just be the whitewashed, or nah. Come on, bro. I was raised reading Antenor Firmin, like the Haitian guy that obliterated a French author that wrote the book The Inequality of Races, and he wrote an answer, a book, to, not for this author, but as a response. And the book is titled The Equality of the Races. And he obliterated the motherfucker, like KO. And I come from this cloth. I was reading this book, I was a teenager. I come from Che Kanta Diop, like, lineage. I come from these guys. You know what I mean? And to see, like, when I was going through that, to see that my own guys that I would look up to judging me, because I understand, because their experience is different from mine. Because I was watching a girl the other day on Instagram talking about the difference in experiences between a Caribbean person and a Black American person. The Black American has it worse. The Caribbean has it better. Why? Because we grow up and 99% of our population look like us. They're going through the same shit. They have the same behaviors, the same everything. Like, we grew up in familiarity. Meanwhile, they grow up, they have to deal with all this bullshit from white folks. They have to deal with racism very early. They have to deal with a lot of shit that Haitians or Caribbean people, we did not have to go through. You know what I mean? Even if in the Caribbean, the education system is built to alienate, like, alienate. Yeah, I think that's the correct word. Alienate you to think that, oh, being black is bad. Your skin color is not beautiful. Like to reverse engineer your sanity. Like, to break your sanity and then do the reverse, you know what I mean? To inverse your sanity, to make you, like, basically a mad person because you hate yourself. And trust me, I know what I'm talking about because I'm living in DR right now, and these Dominicans, man, like the alienation is deep, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, I don't think I told the story completely or even well enough. I think I'm gonna do another video to add up some more details, but yeah, man, like from July 23 up to November, I had met my, what you would call, twin flame on the internet, and I had met my tribe while I was fighting, if you could say, Russian egregores, tulpas and shit. And bro, that, man, I'm glad we have a high AI right now, because I'm gonna put this shit into a series. Not even one movie, but multiple. And then yeah, and then I ruined it because I was going through too much, man. I was going through too fucking much, bro. Like, nah, I was going through too much, because the average person, they would crack. They would crack. They would either kill themselves, or they would just go out and start killing people and then kill themselves after. Or yeah, some shit like that would have happened if, you know, if I was average, you know, if I wasn't Asian, if I wasn't, you know, if I didn't come from what I came from, you know what I mean? So yeah, man. But I'm so grateful I come from this cloth of Haitian liberators and basically gods on earth. And also for my intelligence, for my mother, and the education that she gave me, you know. But every time I think about this stuff, because for me it's still current, it's still actual, every time I think about it, I'm like, yeah, we fucked up. Every time I think about it, but I'm like, yeah, we fucked up big time. Big time. Because everybody like got disappointed in me. At least that's how I felt. You know, because my last video that I recorded, I don't even remember. It was November 23, yeah? Yeah, I remember. And everything they told me to do, the only thing that I did successfully was to get out of the country with all my sanity, all my memories, everything. Like, I get out, and I arrived in Turkey. We landed in Turkey. You know, there are a lot of Russian people in Turkey. Bro, even in the plane, bro, the flight was a nightmare. Because they kept telling me, like, open yourself, let us see, like, what is your secret, like, what is your bro, I'm telling you, it's not something that they say physically. You don't hear it with your physical ears. You hear it in your mind, and you feel it in your body, how they communicate with you, what they're trying to do. And sometimes you hear it physically too, like they be talking in codes, but if you want to interact with them while they're doing it, it's a trap. Don't take part of it, like, in it. Don't take part in it. And then yeah, man, I fucked up like bad. Because what I should have done was introduce myself to the girl and say goodbye. Hello, this is Psycho. We'll talk later. And then never write her again. And then with my tribe, I should have stick to my own personal script, but combined with sparks, or, you know, of their, with sparks of their own wisdom and their guidance. But because everybody was judging me, like the Russians were judging me, my own community was judging me. Fuck, everybody was judging me. And I was like, you know what? Fuck y'all. I was like, fuck you, fuck him. But I was like, fuck y'all, except for the ones that did not judge me. Like, I'm talking about from the online spiritual community. These guys, they will roast your ass, you know, because they've been you in their past, but they don't judge you. They don't judge you. And I would keep listening to these guys, man, and I'm very grateful for them. But the religious ones, nah, they kept judging my ass, man. And I ruined all the relationships that I had, both with the Russians and with these American people. And I came back to Haiti, and it was crazy. It's like I came from being this titan, this giant to now being like a roach, basically. Like a roach. So I came back in Haiti, 23. I think it was December or some shit. And yeah, everybody knows what's happening in Haiti right now. So imagine me coming from Russia with all this, music career is going right. I'm doing my shit. And then you're right in the capital, hearing gunshots every day, people dying, bloodshed, genocide. And then I'm like, damn. So if that was possible, like you can come up from this high to crash this low. Like, yeah, that's interesting. But after that, nothing interested me anymore. Like nothing interested me. Like I was just uninterested. I became uninterested in everything and everyone, and like basically, yeah, I was done. It's like, you know what, I'm done because I came, I saw, I overcame, the monsters, the egregores and shit. And right now I'm back in my country, back in my roots. And I can't do shit because the country, like, it's just impossible. And I'm like, yeah, let's just swim with the wave, It was crazy. I hope you enjoyed the story, man. If you want to check out my book, Timeless Resonance, The Unwritten Symphony, it's 400 pages. It's a collection of aphorisms and philosophical questions. Not only philosophical, but mostly philosophical, deep metaphysical questions that will unravel all the layers that you think are your identity, but they're just layers for you to play with and, peel off to discover the deeper parts of yourself. It's a really good book. It's very affordable, I would just say basically free, but it's very affordable. Check it down in the link in the description. I will put it. Support me. I'm in the Dominican Republic right now. I cannot keep on with the music stuff because I don't have a studio, and I have a long catalog of songs that I want to release, but I'm not gonna release anything on the streaming platforms because there is no money doing it, and my message is worth support, financial support. Yeah, man. Y'all have a good time. Peace.